Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The best deck series continues on, GWC, and this giant graveyard beatdown deck, is strong meta deck, for Arena 10 or plus. Before continues this video, I will announce that I starting best player deck series on my channel. For this you not need to subscribe or like my videos, but if you have your own deck and that works very well in challenges, or ladder, or both, then send me your deck and my next video is on your deck, that help other players. If you think that your deck is best, my email address and given description with more information. No restriction for arenas, send best deck for Arena 3 to 11. But your decks, not popular meta decks, this is the rules. Anyways, let's start this guide. With this deck, I reach 3340 trophies, with level 9. Currently, Giant, Graveyard, and Electro Wizard are extremely strong in the meta, and this deck utilizes all three of them, making it extremely powerful. Let's get into it. In this deck we have Giant, Graveyard, Electro Wizard, Princess, the Log, Baby Dragon, Fireball and Cannon. So go to Cards Breakdown to see how to use card for this style of decks. Cards Breakdown. Giant. Giant is your main offensive unit. You will use it to make pushes with your Princess and Electro Wizard, and also tank for your Graveyard. For only 5 elixir, it offers an insane amount of health and damage. Generally, you will want to build up a slow push with it by starting it at the back, then adding support troops along with, or play Graveyard when the Giant is at the bridge to deal insane damage. Graveyard. This is your secondary win condition. If the opponent does not have the right cards in hand, this spell can completely take the tower. It is almost never okay to play Graveyard by itself. Instead you should always have something tanking for it and a spell to take out the opponent's counters. Otherwise it will be a wasted 5 elixir. Usually you will play it when the E-Wiz Baby Dragon Giant is at the bridge and you have a spell in hand. Electro Wizard, another great support card. It is great to pair with your Giant and Graveyard. It is also a superb defensive troop, single-handedly able to stop a hog and a balloon. Usually, I use it as a support defensive troop to stun the opponent's push to give the main defensive units time to take the push down. After the push has been stopped, throw a Giant in front of it or use it to tank for the Graveyard, a push that can deal huge damage. Fireball. Fireball is one of my favorite spells as it offers so much for just 4 elixir. It can take out pesky archers, wizards, musketeers, night witches, and other counters for your Graveyard, while also clipping the tower for extra damage and allowing massive damage for your Graveyard and Giant. Make sure you always get the maximum value out of the Fireball. Baby Dragon. So you can see now that this deck is a control plus hybrid beatdown deck. Beatdown because of the Giant Graveyard, control because of the amazing defensive ability and counter pushing of this deck, and Baby Dragon helps in just that. You can use Baby Dragon plus Graveyard to rush your opponent, although this is highly not recommended, because rushing hardly works at all in this deck, or defend a minor push or a major push with the help of Graveyard. Baby Dragon can also be a support card for Giants, and thankfully does not die to lightning. Baby Dragon is for sure one of the best cards in the game, because it is a great support defense, and also a mini tank that can tank for Graveyard the exact same way Bulwark does in a counterpush. Princess. The outstanding stats that only Princess acquired in Clash Royale is her attack range. Range distance, which could outrange the towers, render this card an overpowered legendary. To balance the game, she dies in one shot by arrow and log. Support Giant and cheap damage on tower. In short, the ultimate strategy of playing a Princess like pro is screwing up the enemy summoning order. It's not that difficult to do so as long as you learn when and where to place this 3 elixir legendary card. The Log. The Log is definitely one of most useful cards in the vast majority of any Clash Royale meta. The reason for this isn't due to its damage or ability to take down enemy towers from far away, but rather due to its utility and flexibility as arguably one of the most multifaceted cards in the game. The Log is protect Giant from a skeleton army and goblin gang. It's supporting Graveyard to provide most of his value of damage. Cannon. Main defensive building in your deck. It is easy to pull Hog, Giant, Royale Giant, Lava Hound with Cannon. This 3 elixir card cycle your deck easily. Card replacements if you have not having, or unlock cards, or underlevel so you can replace Giant, to Lava Hound or Golem not recommended. Graveyard, cannot replaceable. Baby Dragon, to Bowler, or Executioner. Electro Wizard, to Wizard, or Night Witch. Princess to Wizard, or Witch. Log to Zap, or Arrows. Cannon, to Tornado. Fireball to Poison. Pros for this deck: solid defense, fun to use, solid defense, great synergies, works in ladder, challenges, and tournament. Underleveled cards, who cares? This deck does not rely much on card level. Cons for this deck: contains a 4 legendary, and that too one that is hard to use properly, kind of weak against heavy beatdown. Most cards are either irreplaceable or replacements are not recommended. 1 Buildings Cannon or only 1 high damage spell. Offensive game plan: single elixir. At the beginning of the game, I like to play passively to see what kind of deck the opponent has, and namely what counters he has to graveyard. Usually I will defend the opponent's push during single elixir and counter push with Giant, getting some good damage in. Once you are sure of the opponent's deck, you can start building up a push when you are at 10 elixir by starting a Giant in the back. Put Electro Wizard and or Baby Dragon to support the Giant, and then play Graveyard when at the bridge. If the opponent has Valkyrie, make sure she targets the Giant before you play the Graveyard. If you have both a Giant and Graveyard going at the opponent's tower, they won't know which to deal with and you will deal massive damage mid-game. By now, you want to try counter-pushing. Counter-pushing is your goal here. Try defending your opponent pushes with Cannon and Baby Dragon, and by the time they have defended and are crossing the bridge, try and get a Graveyard in. This usually works because your opponent will have invested most of their elixir in pushing and they will have nothing to counter the Graveyard. Most likely you will have secured a crown. If you have, again, try stalling. If you don't have Giant in the back, by the time it crosses the bridge, place a Graveyard. Try and get as many Graveyards in as possible because you want to secure 1 crown. Then either stall or slowly go for a second crown. Late game double elixir time and overtime. If you have got a crown, focus on defending, and defending. If you are able to counterpush, great. I once defended a Hog Rider. The score was 1-0. I was winning with Electro Wizard, then waited till Electro Wizard crossed the bridge, then put a Graveyard in. The opponent rocketed my tower. Score became 1-1. But my Graveyard got the score to 2-1. If you have gotten 2 crowns somehow, I would suggest going for 3, or if there is little time left then just defending. If the game happens to reach overtime, overwhelm your opponent. I once managed to get 2 Giants, 2 Electro Wizard and a Baby Dragon down and I placed a Graveyard. My opponent hopelessly tried defending with Goblin Gang, but Baby Dragon took them all out. Imagine 5 tanks and a Graveyard at your tower. In overtime, the goal is to attack. With this deck, though, you're less than likely to reach overtime. Matchups: Lavaloon, Baby Dragon plus Princess is the key, and Electro Wizard on Lava Pups. Graveyard Freeze, an extremely tough matchup, because Baby Dragon is the only decent Graveyard counter in this deck. With Freeze, you're nearly dead. Some players try using Bowler to counter the Graveyard, but Bowler is not that effective at countering Graveyard. If you have chosen to use Electro Wizard or Executioner, that's the key. However, Freeze is where it gets tricky. Try waiting for all the skeletons to gather up. You will have to suffer some chip damage, then log them all. 3 Musketeers, probably the trickiest matchup there is. Royale Giant, Electro Wizard plus Baby Dragon, then try counter-pushing with the Baby Dragon and Graveyard, with Electro Wizard doing extra chip damage. Giant, Golem, same as my answer to Royale Giant. Except against Golems, try adding Cannon into. Conclusion: so guys, this is the deck you've been looking for if you want easy wins. I tested this deck out a bit and found it to be very strong. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed. That's it for now. Any questions, comments, or insults, post them in the comments below. If you like my video then like and share. Keep supporting me to more Clash Royale decks. For this you need to subscribe to my channel. Every best deck for you. I hope you like my guide and have a better day. See you in next meta guide. Stay tuned. Peace.
هلا اجا الزعيم العظيم
على دين بابا فقار.
الشعب يقول اني حاكم كريم.
اي